people ready to proceed with closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, before I begin, I would like to request that all time remaining up to 5 minutes be reserved for my rebuttal.
That's fine, counsel.
Thank you. Priya Patel for the state. May I proceed?
Yes.
Vanessa Sullivan had just turned 21 years old. She had a future ahead of her. She wanted to go to law school. She wanted to start a family. But unfortunately, on her 21st birthday, Vanessa Sullivan lost her shot at every dream she wanted. That's because of the choices and the actions of Danny Dawson. The choices to take one drink too many, to take the curves of Canyon Road too fast, ultimately taking Vanessa Sullivan too soon. Now, earlier my co-counsel Anthony Juarez came before you and he told you that we're here to pursue 2 counts. The first of driving under the influence, where we must prove that Danny Dawson was driving a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol. And that second count is extreme reckless murder, in which we must prove that Danny Dawson consciously disregarded a harmful result and put not only himself, but everybody around him in danger. And we're required to prove both of these counts to you beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning that when you come back with your decision about Mr. Dawson, there's no question or doubt in your mind that the choice that you made is the right one. It's a high burden to meet, ladies and gentlemen, but today we have met our burden. So let's break these counts down. The first count, driving under the influence. Now, you heard from several witnesses today that Danny Dawson was drinking. In fact, every person that was with Danny at the bar said that Danny was drinking. Taylor Hobson came before you today and said that Danny ordered 3 drinks with dinner. Pat Lawrence came before you today and told you that Danny was ordering drinks 30 minutes before leaving the bar. Jordan James came before you today and said she was serving Danny the whole night. But when it comes to driving under the influence, what's really important is the 3 field sobriety tests that Officer Foster performed on Mr. Dawson after the car accident. 3 field sobriety tests. The first, an eye test, just following a motion. The second, standing on one leg and counting. And the third, walking in a straight line. Now these are simple things that we can do on a daily basis. But when Officer Foster performed these tests on Mr. Dawson, Danny Dawson failed not 1, not 2, but all 3 field sobriety tests, in which Officer Foster uses to gauge if somebody has alcohol in their system. This proves that Danny Dawson was, in fact, under the influence of alcohol when he was driving Vanessa Sullivan's Chevrolet Impala home that night. Now, that second count of extreme reckless murder, we have to prove to you that Danny was aware of a risk. Still took it anyway. Now, I want to talk to you about statements that Mr. Dawson said, not necessarily his actions. Danny Dawson, at 12:30, 30 minutes before Chuggy's was about to close, came to Pat Lawrence and asked him for ADD pills. Why? Because he needed help concentrating on the drive home. That in itself, ladies and gentlemen, shows that Mr. Dawson knew that he was unable to drive. Needing ADD pills to concentrate on the drive home, Danny Dawson was conscious that he was taking a risk. And when Pat Lawrence pleaded with Danny to not drive home after accidentally serving him a grain alcohol shot, Danny said it would help him concentrate on the drive home. When Taylor Hobson was pleading with Danny to slow down on the curves of Canyon Road, all Danny could say was, "I'm going to show you how I can really drive." And when Danny saw London Bennett, all he could say was, "So stupid. Why did I let them talk me into driving when I knew I was tipsy. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Dawson knew he took one drink too many. He knew he was planning on taking the curves of Canyon Road too fast. Now, in order to prove extreme reckless murder, we have to prove that Danny was acting unreasonably. That if we were in the same situation, we wouldn't act that way. So I want you to think about this. Just moments after entering Chuggy's, a little bit after dinner, Pat Lawrence came to Danny Dawson's table. And Danny Dawson said he would be the one driving home. Told Taylor Hobson the same thing, that he would be the designated driver. Now, when a reasonable person is insured with the responsibility to be the designated driver, you stop drinking. You make sure that you can get your passengers home safely. And Danny Dawson never did that. After raising his hand to Pat Lawrence and saying, "Yes, I will be the designated driver," Danny kept ordering drink after drink after drink before getting behind the wheel of Vanessa Sullivan's car. That's ignoring a responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. That is conscious disregard. When Danny was on Canyon Road, a road that was dark, with no lights, raining heavily, Danny was speeding. Danny was taking a curvy road known to be dangerous to so many people with speed at 66 miles per hour, as Officer Foster told you, when the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. Now, speed limits are put in place so that reasonable people can follow them. Danny Dawson acted unreasonably by speeding. Now, opposing counsel wants you to consider the fact that there may have been a deer in the road. No person has come up here before you today to tell you that there was, in fact, a deer in the road. In fact, the only person that may have seen this deer was London Menace dog Peaches. We cannot definitively say that there was a deer in the road, but what we can say was that at that moment of the accident, Danny Dawson was going 66 miles per hour. That's driving recklessly, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Dawson chose to drink heavily at Chuggy's bar. Danny Dawson chose to get behind the wheel of Vanessa Sullivan's car. Danny Dawson chose to ignore a responsibility. He chose to speed. And because of that, Vanessa Sullivan isn't here with us today. Danny Dawson knew he was putting not only himself, but everybody around him in danger. And for that, we ask that you find Mr. Dawson guilty on both charges. Thank you.
Thank you.